Welcome to Fit and Pain-Free the Bonnie Prudden Way. I'm Enid Whitaker, and I'm joined by Sandy Dirks. Our program each month will center around fitness pioneer Bonnie Prudden and her accomplishments, her method of exercise, and pain erasure the Bonnie Prudden Way, or Bonnie Prudden myotherapy, which is a way to get rid of muscle-related pain. Join us as we begin each meeting with a few tension relieving exercises.
In today's episode, we're talking all things skiing and Bonnie Prudden. Enid, skiing.
Yeah, in 1943, 5 little boys showed up at Bonnie's front door and asked if she would teach them how to ski. And she said yes. Bonnie was like a Pied Piper. She had a big personality. She had lots of energy. She had lots of know-how. And she also knew how to ski. And I guess they knew it. And the reason she knew how to ski was because once she didn't know how to ski. And her first run on skis was at Suicide 6 in Vermont. And she didn't know how to stop. So when she got near the bottom, instead of running out into the road or somewhere, she sat down. And where she sat was, there was a rock and it was snow covered, but there wasn't much cover. It was early in the season. So she fractured her pelvis in 4 places. Oh, wow. And was strung up in traction for 3 months and in a body cast. And when she finally got the cast off, she rehabbed herself with chair exercise and with water exercise. And those 2 things became the basis for chair exercise and her water exercise programs down the line. She went and learned how to ski, which was a good thing. And it was during the war years, and so she was with the first aid, she was with the ski patrol, she was with the community whatevers and the first aid, the Red Cross, all the things that women were doing those days to help with the war efforts, as well as being housewives, which in those days included everything, and it didn't include push button this and push button that. So she was really, really busy. And not only that, her father-in-law had told her that she could volunteer for anything she wanted, but she couldn't earn any money. So she volunteered for everything. So these 2 little boys 5 little boys showed up, and she said, yes, she would teach them, but there were conditions. First of all, anybody from 8 to 18 could join. And everybody had to wear a long sleeve white shirt. Bonnie believed in uniforms. She wanted everybody to feel that they belonged. And that was by having some kind of a uniform, no matter how simple it was. Bonnie was the first woman to have a National Ski Patrol badge. And she earned a lot of kudos. She was the first woman to have the Eastern Safety Award for skiing. Because of her own accident, she realized that in order to ski, you had to be fit to ski. You didn't ski to get fit. You got fit in order to ski. So this club that she organized was called the Adelpate Ski Club. And Adelpate, like crazy in the head for skiing, is what it was. And everybody, she made a deal with the local ski shop that she would send all the kids there if they would give them a 10% discount, and they wouldn't sell them anything they didn't need, and that they would make sure that they got the right size for this, that, and the other thing. And so this Adel Beach Ski Club went on. She put 1,100 kids through 10 years of ski school without a fracture.
Wow.
They practiced on their skis, on golf courses, in the schoolyards, once a week before the ski season. And by the time the ski season came, they were fit to ski because they had practiced their herringbones, their climbing this way and that way, sideways and up and down. And they had, she had given them the exercises that they needed for skiing to make it so that they could ski.
And this was on grass, right? This wasn't on snow. They were
This was on
practicing on grass. Yeah.
It was a dry ski school.
Right, right.
And back in the 70s, when I was teaching Bonnie's program in New Hampshire, I decided I was going to have a dry ski school, but it was in the gym. And it was a variety of people that came. One little boy came with his grandmother. And then there were this was in the hot dogging days. So there were lots of young guys there and older guys there, and they were interested in hot dogging, and quite a few women. So it was one of the most fun classes I've ever taught. And everybody had a good time, and they got fit to do their hot dogging and their skiing or whatever they were going to do. Even the little boy was just beginning his skiing. So yes, prepare to ski before you ski. And that led also to Sports Illustrated series that Bonnie did, in which she included exercises for getting into condition for skiing. And she included pre-sport skiing in a number of her books. And the Adelpate Ski Club was the basis for the Junior Ski Patrol. That's how the Junior Ski Patrol started, because of the Adelpate Ski Club. And so the kids that were in the Junior Ski Patrol became regular ski patrollers. And that's how that all started, just because of Bonnie and all her energy and know-how and stick-to-itiveness. Oh, she also went on to put out a record, Fit to Ski, which included all the exercises needed to get into shape to ski. And in that time, she used the boots because they were so heavy as weights. And in those days, also, you had those big clip-on skis. So even though those tools were used in those days, the exercises were just right for everybody that wanted to ski. And she was all about safety. That was the thing. The Adelpate Ski Club was about being fit to ski and about ski safety.
Very cool. And was that her first foray into pre-sport conditioning?
Probably. I've never thought about it, but probably that is the case. Yeah.
I just remember seeing a brochure on pre-sport bowling. A little, right? And I was just thinking, I mean, that was the first that I remember reading about her doing something, was the pre-sport skiing, and talked about, but then it seems to me that it evolved into other sports as well. That kind of did the standard for pre-sport conditioning.
Yeah. And when I was teaching at the Bonnie Prudden School, I taught pre-sport for.
Oh, you did?
I taught pre-sport for tennis and pre-sport for skiing and skating. And then after they'd had their pre-sport, then the students were asked to pick a sport that they didn't know anything about and put together their own pre-sport class to be shown and demonstrated to the rest of the class. So it always worked out well. Everybody learned a lot of different sports and learned how to get in shape for them.
Great. And why is that important?
You want to have fun and you don't want to be hurt. And so get your body fit for the sport that you want to play. And that way you can enjoy it. You're going to be a better player and you won't be hurt.
Perfect. Perfect. Bonnie also used to talk about the weekend warriors and how so many of them hurt themselves.
Yeah, she did. And I can remember being with her in Florida at the Orlando hospital one time when she gave a lecture demo. And then at the end, she was asking people about whether they had any questions. And this one guy raised his hand and he said, "You haven't said anything about aerobics." And she said, without missing a beat, "We've ruined our chassis to save our motors." In other words, a lot of people ruin themselves trying to get their heart rate up, but they forget that the body needs variety. And whenever you do something over and over and over and over and over again, you're actually maybe tearing little muscle fibers and abusing the muscles. So for instance, running on the road for aerobics is not the best thing to do. If you're going to run, there's nothing wrong with running, but run on the beach or run on the trail or run on the golf course, not on the unforgiving surfaces.
Yes, and like all of her exercise programs, we don't just start right out with the sport itself. We start with a warm-up, condition.
Yeah, right. Warm up for us consists of reaching and twisting exercises, bending exercises that warm up the entire body before you go to do whatever you're going to do. I have lots of tennis players that I work with. I had a tennis player the other day, and she had lots of trigger points in her trapezius muscles and in her neck and so forth, and was having trouble with her ball toss. And so after she came in with a headache, even though she'd taken something to get rid of it, because the doctor told her, if you take this and you get rid of your headache, it was a migraine. Well, she had taken it, but she still had her headache. So before I even gave her the regular treatment and took her history, I got rid of her headache. But also I told her, before you go on the tennis court, do these specific exercises. So she emailed me the next day and said that she'd done what I told her to do, and it made a big difference in her game and in the pain level. She didn't have the pain that she had usually.
Great. So you warm up, you do the sport,
and then you do your flexibility exercises afterwards, after you're warm.
Okay. Very good. So I believe, I know for sure in the myotherapy book, there's a section on pre-sport.
Right.
I don't, yeah, okay. So the myotherapy.
Myotherapy really zeroes in on occupational and sports-related injuries.
Yes. Yes.
And it also has quick fix as well as permanent fix in it. So you can do a quick get pain-free, or you can do the permanent pain-free.
Yes. So this is probably one of the best books to get for information about pre-sport conditioning,
Right.
patients, what you can do to help yourself.
Right.
Good.
I have a different background.
Oh, yes, you do.
It's because in July, at the end of July, I had a mud flood at the house where the institute is. It broke down the back door, and I had 2 to 3 feet of mud and water coming through the house. it was high enough to go into the toilet and the bathtub. So I couldn't stay there. I had to pack everything up, put everything in storage. And I am now with a friend who has been very gracious and thoughtful to let me stay with her until I can figure out what needs to be done next to put everything back in order and have a house of my own again. So that's where we are. My webmaster did put up a GoFundMe, and so that's been really, really helpful to be able to hire people to get the stuff into storage and keep the storage units and so forth, and other things that come when you don't know what's going on, so to speak. So I'm hanging in there.
Good. And part of the problem, not only are you homeless, but the home that you were in had all of Bonnie Prudden's history in it.
Right. And that's another vlog. When we get everything settled, we'll have some news about Bonnie's history.
Okay.
But for now, it's in its own storage unit. And we were able to save almost everything. Some of it got a bit muddy, but it will be okay.
Okay. Thank you, Enid, for all the work you've been doing. And we're moving forward and onward.
I will say that, and I wrote a blog about this before this happened. It was called "What If Texas Were Ukraine?"
Yes, you did. That's right.
If Texas were Ukraine, would you be able to walk to Mexico or New Mexico or Oklahoma or whatever is surrounding Texas? And I really feel that because I don't have any pain and because I'm fit due to the Bonnie Prudden program of fitness and myotherapy, that has enabled me to keep going. I was up there every day, sorting, packing, and loading for 2 weeks, actually more than that. And luckily my daughter-in-law was there to help me, but you can withstand a lot more if you are fit and you don't hurt.
Yes. And thank goodness, not only being fit and not hurting, but the other thing that we learned from Bonnie and that you've always done, Enid, is if there's an obstacle in front of you, how can you get over it, under it, around it? You have to be flexible, not only in body, but in spirit.
Right.
And you've been able to do that.
Right.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
Thank you, Enid. Now on to the exercise of the month. For this month's exercise of the month, which are waist twists, I'm going to read a few excerpts from Myotherapy, Bonnie Prudden's Complete Guide to Pain-Free Living, and her section on pre-sport exercise. Warm-ups. The word warm-up means precisely that. Exercises to warm up muscles. A good warm-up is done standing in one place, so the cold muscle does not have to lift the body off the ground, especially in an explosive effort like a drop into the basket or reaching for an errant backhand in a rally. A good warm-up includes the whole body, not just the legs as in slowly skating around the rink. A good warm-up involves rhythm. If they have been trained with good warm-ups for months, the muscles move easily within a safe parameter, never overreaching. A light stretch is built into a good warm-up, but only after the muscles are warm and loose. A good warm-up is designed to speed up the heart action without straining cold muscles and increase circulation. All sports require waist flexibility, and yet all sports militate against it. The internal and external oblique muscles, the latissimus dorsi, and even the rectus abdominis come under terrific pressure in forced twisting motions found in most sports other than swimming. But if these muscles are not flexible, it is difficult to isolate the upper from the lower body, which limits competency. Thus, our exercise of the month are waist twists. For a waist twist, you start with the feet apart for stabilization. Keep the legs straight and raise bent elbows to shoulder height. Turn the upper body to the left as far as possible, initiating the movement with the left elbow moving back. Then do the same to the right. Alternate with a brisk rhythm for 8. Then drop the upper body forward until it is at right angles to the floor. Continue the twist with do 8.
And as Bonnie says, keep fit, be happy.